Hello, good evening, everyone. Very late evening here live, Tuesday night, May 21st, 2019. It's a little bit late night, but I promised you guys that I will come out and share a very important email that one of my subscribers had shared with me, and he called it as warning threat to foreigners. So I know some of you are planning to go to Ukraine for the first time. Some of you have some assistance. Some of you travel on your own, and boy, I'm pretty tired today, but I felt it would be a good time to come out and reflect actually on that email. And also, I would like to announce that next week, almost exactly a week from now, so next Wednesday, which would be what, 29th, I believe. Tell me what it is next Wednesday, what day it is. We're going to have a first trip to Ukraine call. So what it's gonna be is gonna be we're gonna have a Zoom call, and I'm gonna answer the questions, and I'm also gonna record that. It's gonna be just exactly about. Thank you so much, King Nero. 29th is Wednesday. Okay, great. So this call is available to those of you who are my first tier members on Patreon. It's a paid call. It's almost like a massive consultation. You guys know that I charge for my work. I charge for my consultations, my personal things that I do, but that's a little bit different. This strictly we're gonna talk about travel and safety. So if you would like to ask questions or learn from the experiences, and some good ones and some not so good ones, if you want to be aware, some new things had happened, and just you want to have a little bit more confidence, and some safety tips kind of pulled all together, because you can find many of them in my videos, but they are not all together. You can join the call. If you cannot join the call, you will receive a recorded version. So sorry guys, recorded version will be available on my Patreon account. And so if you want to become a member, you have this week to become a member, and it starts from only $10 per month. So I think the information that I give, worth a lot more than, I don't know, 10 cents a day or whatever. My head is not working. So I am tired, but I'm still conscious. So I still have a very, very important message today. So once again, announcement. Thank you so much, guys, for confirming. Wednesday, May 29th, we'll have a Zoom call at 7:30 p.m. And people who are going to Ukraine, who want to learn about Ukraine, who has any kind of questions regarding their trip, they are welcome to join. And then it will be strictly on the topic. So the recorded version would be published on Patreon, so you can learn all those things. If you want to become a member, once again, let me know, and I will post a link. So I don't care if 50 people will show up or one person will show up. I'm still gonna go through exactly those tips that are important for you to consider and be prepared and ready. I am physically and emotionally and mentally hurt when somebody gets in a bad situation while traveling to Ukraine. So that was an announcement. Welcome back. The link is gonna be Zoom link. It's gonna be posted on Patreon. So for those who are members, and we are doing VIP through Patreon this time. So if you want to become a member, you can, and we'll talk about this. Okay, let's get on topic today. Thank you so much for joining, everybody. I know I had not announced. Thank you so much. So something very important, guys. I received a letter from a member who actually just probably flying back today from Ukraine to US, and I posted that detailed letter and pictures on my Patreon. Once again, that's why you want to be a member, because you get a lot of value for your dollar. Some of you guys had seen that. I posted every single thing he sent me and the pictures and everything. But today we're just gonna talk a little bit general, but also I have my iPad in my hand. So basically, what happened, guys? This man was just having his time, enjoying. He was in Nikolaev or Mykolaiv, whatever, which I honestly do not necessarily recommend to go there unless you're going to Odessa or you have a particular person to see, because it's a very small city and there is nothing so special about it just because there is a company that promotes it because somebody was born there. I'm sorry to say this, but it doesn't make it a great city. If you travel to Ukraine, I would recommend to go to Kiev, Lviv, Odessa, maybe Dnipro, but that's just my personal little insight on that. King Nero, Mykolaiv is in Ukrainian and Nikolaev is in Russian. So that's why you can say it in different ways. So anyway, so what happened? He was just walking, doing his thing, and somebody was somebody asked him for help, for direction. Let's just talk in general about the situation. I don't have to give you every single detail. So, what can happen sometimes? There are people that sort of, looking for foreigners. They are looking because you guys look different. No matter how much you try, you look different. And it's okay. But there is a group, sometimes they could be a person or a group of people that looking for foreigners and trying to manipulate them in giving them some money. I'm gonna record another video topic with a member that is right now in Ukraine, and he had something not quite exactly the same but similar situation. So anyway, so the problem here that they do not look like gopniki. They do not look like they're criminals. So this person can come to you very friendly, try to pretend a foreigner too, try to connect with you and ask you, maybe you can help him with something, like in this situation, this guy, so I'm gonna read you a little piece from the letter, okay? So, oh no, 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 don't go away. So in Mykolaiv, this man, calling himself Michael, was not far from where I was already walking and asking for directions in English. As a helpful person, I decided to help. He was looking for a nearby museum. As it turned out, I was already headed there. He walked 3-4 blocks talking, went through the museum, and when we were finished, he insisted that he thanked me buying me food at nearby cafe. As he spoke fluent French and claimed to be from Belgium, he ordered wine, a cheese plate, and 2 small Greek salads. I am not sure when it happened, but at some point drugs were placed into my drink. So this is the key words. Whether you're going to club, cafe, bar, restaurant, you should always guide your drink. You should always make sure that they actually make now drink covers. If you are, I used to be, well, back in time, before the motherhood and all of that, I used to go out a lot. And I remember how the stories are starting to come up with people getting some drugs into the drinks while you go out dancing, you go out doing this, and drugs can be put in your drinks. It is extremely dangerous. A lot of guys, I want to tell you something from the club life. I used to go out. Okay, My son is asleep, so I can tell the truth. I used to go out, 3, 4, 5 times a week. I loved dancing. I loved having fun. I was not involved in drinking really. It would be either something light, sometimes no alcohol at all. So I was able to observe people, and once in a while, those guys that were hitting and were trying to get some girls, uh they would think that they are getting advantage of them, but those girls knew what they were doing. They were dressed very seductive, and they had those little pills in their purse. And so the moment you look away, the moment you do something, the pills are placed in your drink, and then they say, yes, sure, we're gonna go with you in your room. Oh, yes, yes, yes. And then when, you know by the time the client goes to his room, and he's thinking he's gonna take advantage of a woman, I don't know, maybe pay her, I don't know the details, but he ends up completely losing it and falling asleep. And the girls, those people would rob him. Those stories, they're not that common, guys. I don't want you to think that, oh my gosh, that's gonna happen. It's not that common. It would happen once in a while. There would be allowed stories that somebody got robbed, but this is, I'm talking 10 years ago, because I left Ukraine. I'm now in US, so I left Ukraine 10 years ago, and I was going out for years, before that. So, but it looks like things are changing, and now not only girls doing that in the club, but a normal looking, average looking man trying to be friendly, insisting to in Ukrainian culture, guys, I want you to know that this guy that is doing the scam, he is very foxy and smart, not in a good way, because in Ukrainian culture, people who are real friends, who really like you, they actually would invite you to go to their home. They would invite you to have a drink or dinner, or they would insist to invite you to a restaurant, and they would pay for your drink. So, but this is a scammer. So if something looks way too good, why the other dude would pay for you? You know? This is just weird. That the other dude want to pay for your meal. So I don't know about that one. You gotta be alert. If something looks too good, it's probably is too good. If something does not look like it's something is weird about it, it's probably is weird. So you can see how he's saying here that he insisted that he thanked me by buying me food at nearby cafe, as he spoke fluent French and claimed to be from Belgium. He ordered wine and blah blah blah. So at some point, this man Jared, he doesn't really hide his name. He probably turned his head. Maybe he went to the bathroom. So the pills, the drugs were placed into his drinks. So guys, safety tip: do not leave your drinks unattended unless you know the people. It's once again very rare. I think that is the second letter I get like this in 3 or 4 years I've been doing these videos. So now this is, thank you so much, Lance. Thank you so much. I appreciate your support. Thank you for the super chats. Yes, if it looks too good, it probably is. Exactly. So he's saying, okay, at some point, drugs were placed into my drink. After a time, I started feeling not only a bit dizzy, but extremely cooperative. Looking back, many of the questions he asked were gradually intrusive. So he didn't just attack with questions, but they were gradually intrusive. So this drink have this weird effect when you open, you just tell, it's almost like hypnosis. You tell just whatever you know, right? So we compared temporary residences, and I showed him the photos of the rental site. Through this technique, he learned where I was staying, the money I kept there, and when he asked, I happily gave him my key. So he basically gave him the key. As I found out later, at some point he had control over my phone and deleted all my email apps, so I couldn't stop any transactions should notices be sent to me, right? Because usually we have notifications, if we send a PayPal, if we receive a PayPal, if our bank card was charged, whatever it is, we received some kind of alerts, because most of us are pretty, modern. We have the technology, and bank alerts, credit cards alerts, and all of that. So now he sharing a little bit about himself. I will probably keep this information private, but you guys on Patreon kind of saw that information. It's not that personal, but I will keep it just in case to be public. So it was a man that was in a decent shape, was taking care of himself, was having a good time before he met this guy. I just felt heartbroken reading this. Uh So, at no time did think to put up at no resistance until. Okay, he asked to see his passport, and when he left, he remembered feeling happy and just looking at the cars drive by. So it was about 2 to 30 local time. By 3:15, he had raided my apartment for the credit cards, $1,200 cash, and gone about 1.5 kilometers to a shop where he used one of my credit cards for $1,500. Thankfully, my other cards rejected his attempts. So, right here, guys, before you travel to Ukraine, you do need to of course tell your bank, that when you travel internationally, most likely you need to tell your bank that you'll be travel. So in your cell phone company and your bank, you can actually post the amount. So this guy spent $1,500 or somewhere right there, near the apartment that Jared was staying. So you can actually put a certain amount, only, let's say it's $200, $300 on some of your cards. You can put a limit, so this way, if you lose your card or whatever it is, they know you're in Ukraine, but they might think that you are the one who's using the card. So please tell them the amount. I used to have like $400 max, or sometimes $300 max when I travel abroad. So that's something to consider, to have those. And yes, you should also have some cash on you. So I'm gonna go into detail on this on my call next Wednesday, how to make it right, because things happen. And what the worst thing is? When you don't have anything left, your all cards are blocked, and you don't have your passport. You should always have a copy of your passport, several places. Even if the original passport somehow would be stolen, if you have a copy, you can go to American embassy in Ukraine and recover it, but it's a sure pain in the ass. I'm just saying. Okay, man, I can feel his pain. This is a second letter of a similar type. Actually, I think I've listened to Taya Ukraine video. It was about a year ago, maybe. She had a similar story. So mine really, it's a first letter. So it's quite rare, but it just tells you something. Be careful with strangers, guard your drinks, and preferably have some company. If you are with any Ukrainian, you have assistant, you have a friend, they will kill for you. I don't care if your lady is 5'4", she'll she'll kick the crap out of anybody who will try to hurt you. I'm telling you. I'm working with somebody in Ukraine. Her name is Yulia, and she's this little tiny thing. But one time, the somebody was trying to rob your client, and this is where the Ukrainian badass woman comes in. I mean, she just kicked the crap out of that guy. So don't worry. You are in good hands, and you're gonna be fine. but you just have to realize that there are obviously people that are looking out. It's it's not that common, but you don't want to get too much carried away. So moving forward, so yeah, preferably have some company. Nothing, nobody gonna dare to do anything. If you don't have a company, just be observant. It's very similar, by the way. I'm just gonna say this. It's very similar if you're in Chicago, New York, or Detroit, or whatever city. I was in Chicago first time 2009, I think. And I felt weird because, living in a small town, Michigan, and then going to Chicago, where people run to you and ask you, hey, can I help you with your bag? Or hey, 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 I knew those people were scammers. Or there was this one woman in Chicago. We were downtown, like near all the museums. I was dragging my husband over there back in time. And because I wanted to see museums and stuff. And this one woman, she was standing on a corner and she was crying like, I need $1.75. I need $1.75. I didn't know she could get an Oscar for that. As a woman, um, as naive as I could be sometimes, remember it was 10 years ago. So we were passing her and she was crying her eyes out. It was just such a big thing. She needed $1.75. I felt like my heart is about to be torn because somebody only needed $1.75. Well, we went out, we walked around the Chicago streets, went some places, had a great time. 2 hours later, we are coming back, we are passing her, and guess what she needs? $1.75 still. I was like, what a bitch. So this is all just a performance. So that was pretty shocking to me. That was my Chicago past. I realized big cities are somewhat similar. So, following up back with the story. Somebody says she's still trying to get that money, right? Yeah, we're gonna talk about taxis and driving and cabs and all these things. So please, if you can, make it to the call, or if you sign to Patreon, if you wanna be, I mean, that's if you wanna get, some good value for your dollar, and um can save you a lot of trouble and can give you, I'm also going to have a download with certain things. So if you can make it to the call, you still can receive a recorded, it's probably going to be 2 or 3 videos recorded, or one long one from that call, but all the major important things. So continuing, when I began to regain my senses, I was still sitting in a cafe chair at 6 p.m. This is weird to me because whoever works at the cafe should have knew that something wrong is going on. If somebody was sitting in that cafeteria, they should have known that something wrong is going on. That is not okay that somebody been there for 5 hours. That's weird. If I would see somebody like that, I would figure out that something bad is happening. But we don't know, right? So he was still there at 6 p.m. And then he's saying, I realized what had happened and immediately rushed to my apartment. The door was left unlocked, the keys nowhere in sight, and definitely saw he was only after money, as he left my laptop and watch sitting on the desk. So looks like he just wanted some cash and cards. That's why you gotta be careful with your passport. It's extremely your passport. It's everything. Then he's continuing. I reached out to a wonderful lady I had met during this trip, and shortly afterwards, she arrived with an agency translator to help me out. So they called the police, they gave a report, they were looking for fingerprints and all of that. Um, so he's been spreading this information, around, and the pictures. You can see the pictures on my Patreon, and the letter itself, the whole letter, you can see all the details. And he's saying, don't misunderstand me. I love Ukraine. I love, he's kind of traveling the way I suggest you to travel. Don't ever travel to Ukraine, to my opinion, just to meet somebody and sit there in a hotel. I'm sorry to say this, like a loser. Go out, but be cautious. The only thing is, he could have tell this guy, when somebody's insisting on something too much, and you don't know that person that well, that's kind of weird. By the way, if the lady will offer you to pay for your food, I can guarantee you 100% that a scam as well. Ukrainian women do not pay for men's food. Ukrainian women do not pay for men's food unless you're, long time friend, you have some special relationship. But even then, when I travel to Ukraine, my friends who are just friends, friends who are just friends, well, you know what I'm saying, like friends, they would not let me to buy even like anything for 1 hryvnia. They just don't let you pay. If you're a woman, your wallet is closed, even if you're just a friend, acquaintances, interpreter. They feel less than a man if you should open your wallet. And actually, that's a little bit off topic, but this is actually part of the culture. So it's really weird sometimes when you in America, men expect you to offer sometimes or open your wallet, and for us it's immediate frustration. For us it's almost like, it's not that we tight with those money. It's not about that at all. Almost any woman can buy herself or you a drink or food, but that's about, I'm with a man, I'm protected, he's taking care of me. Even if we're just friends, but we have some kind of trustful relationship and he's in charge. So that's a major difference. And some people in US feel that some people in US feel that, well, you really appreciate when the woman offers. Well, Ukrainian men and some European men also do not appreciate when you offer. It's just because you want to be a man for once. That's all. I'm just kind of giving you that clue. So why I'm saying this? Because if the woman would tell you, "Oh my God, you're so nice," or "Thank you so much," "You've been so wonderful. Can I buy you a dinner?" This is, uh, "Can I buy you a dinner?" said no Ukrainian woman ever. We don't do this. We don't even buy dinners to our husband. The only thing we could do is to make you a dinner. That is different. She won't buy you a dinner at the restaurant because it's weird, but she will make you a dinner if you build in trust, if you build in nice communication, nice chemistry, you build that beautiful connection. She would at some point say, "Hey, would you like to come and enjoy some dinner?" She would, yes, she might get very excited about doing something nice for you, and she would cook, but she would never pay for you. It's really literally an embarrassment if you need to come if you come to a restaurant and even the waitress would see the woman open the wallet and paying. She would be embarrassed. You know what our Ukrainian women do when they date a loser guy? I'm sorry to say this, but we have those too. She would open her wallet, she would pass him money under the table. So even though she's given the money for the dinner, or whatever it was, but she would pass the money under the table, and the man would publicly get the money and put them, in the for to pay for the bill, because she would be embarrassed to be seen publicly with a guy who cannot be a gentleman and pay for the dinner. This is horrible. I mean, it happens, and I'm sorry to say that, but you know what? There is nothing wrong with uh, taking and claiming your power and, being man in charge and take care of things. So, but this is the power of Ukrainian women. How many people you know? How many women in the world you know that they would, they could not do it publicly. They would be embarrassed to bail you out publicly, but they would do it discreetly under the table, and you will be still used. So even if she's paying, you are the one who is paying. But this happens to women who are really in a deep trouble. They fall in love with a guy that is, I'm sorry to say this, but it's just a mess. That's a good way of saying it. They fall in love with somebody completely worthless because, just because. If you can't take care of a woman, go find a job, pick yourself up, and then show up. That's how it is. And I just want to tell you something also, since we're talking about the woman making dinner for you. The one thing, the one golden rule, guys, you never show up empty handed. I remember how surprised people would be here when, in 2009, we would go out and I would always bring something to the table, just something little, either wine or some flowers or something. And people would be always so surprised. In Ukraine, it's just not expected, but it's just part of the etiquette. If somebody was there making you a meal, preparing for you, doing good things for you, the least that you can do is bring a little bit of appreciation, because somebody gives you their attention, their love, they doing something for you. So rule number one, if somebody invite you to their house, never show up empty handed, especially if you're a man. But even as females, we never show up empty handed. So it's up to you what you're gonna bring, but never empty handed. I'm teaching this to my son. I tell him, when you show up in, lady's house, you never show up like a loser. You always have something to offer. You are the protector and the provider, and that is a strong, uh, very important belief. It's not that the women cannot buy those goddamn flowers, so they cannot buy those chocolates or whatever you need. They can do that 10 times more. But by doing that, you're showing that you care, you're thoughtful, you're a provider, and you're the man. Ukrainian women, unlike the feminazi in the Western world, they want you to be the man. That's their favorite thing about you. If they need a girlfriend, they have a cell phone to call their girlfriends. They don't need a girlfriend. And a lot of Ukrainian and Slavic women have a lot of difficulty dating in US, because literally every single date is a frustration, because men do not know the etiquette and they do not know how to lead. But that's another conversation. So basically, I told you guys about what was in this letter. So what can we learn? What can we learn from this experience? I would actually not say that this guy, Jared, did something completely wrong. He was just very, he was kind, he was helpful, he was just naive, to as every single one of us could be. When because 9 out of 10 people that would come and help you, they would be genuine people. They would just see you struggling and they would help you. But you gotta watch out for that one. And yes, watch drinks at the bars. We talked about it earlier. Oh, I need a drink myself right now. I'm gonna go through your comments, guys. I wanna say thank you for participation, and I have another super chat. Thank you for support, Krillin 876. Um, do Euro women still smoke lots of cigarettes? Less. Smoking is becoming less and less, actually. Sometimes it feels like everybody is smoking, because now smoking is banned from the restaurants as well, and you can see people outside, having a cigar, or cigarette. But no, I think it's becoming less. more than in US, but still less. One thing that is popular, especially in summer, is hookah or hookah or um, in Turkish it calls nargile or nargide. You know this thing. I forgot. You know, in US you have hookah bars. We have a different name for it, but I guess it's after 10 o'clock. So it's very popular. It's like a lounge. I kind of, I used to live in the Middle East for sometimes in my previous life, um, for my tourism work. And I have to say, sometimes it can be relaxing, but you have to be careful with hookah, um, because it's pretty intense. It's a treat. Do not drink it smoke it every evening, but it's kind of fun sometimes. All right, let me go through the comments. So yeah, answering your question, I think it's a lot less. Smoking is going down, which is a wonderful thing. Okay, I'm gonna go through some comments. All right, I'm not gonna read the silly ones, okay? Oh, Lance, thank you so much. I really appreciate it. Lance is saying your words are well worth to be here, or the support. Thank you. Hey, Tanya, is it you? You always have different emails. Somebody's saying, I think it's Tanya, but anyway, she says, I had a similar thing happen to me. A Turkish man tried to talk me into going sightseeing with him, basically so he could lead me somewhere to rob me. Was sitting at cafe and then I was distracted. He stole my phone. Yeah. Yeah. By the way, phone is also a big thing. Even though iPhones have also security, still be careful with the phones. And guys, something very, very important, alarming. Be Please be very careful with gypsies, and not just grown people like men and women who are gypsies, but also with kids. A lot of times you see kids, they have this little flowers and they run to you and they're gypsy kids or whatever, they're all dirty. Guys, do not do that. Those kids, they get used. It's horrible things. They abusing those poor children. They beat them, and the thing is, the kids can also rob you. They are completely screwed up. um we were sitting at a beautiful cafe last year on Padol. Was actually 2 years ago, with my friends and subscribers, downtown, in Ukraine, in Kiev, and there was this two kids selling the flowers, and they want that much money. They want 500 grivna, then they want 200, then 300, and one of my subscribers and then friends want to do something nice for us. He want to get those flowers, and we just completely refused. If you want to buy your lady a flower, you can go to any subway station. You would see a beautiful, a very nice, how to say this, like lines with flowers of all kinds, and you can choose and buy from a legitimate flower seller. These gypsy kids, I do not recommend you to engage into any activities, because they also known for robbing. By the time you're gonna be paying cash, by the time you're gonna be giving them cash, very often they will have somebody else to come from another side and maybe take your phone from your back pocket, which you should never have anything valuable in your back pocket. But I'm just trying to tell you, these people, they rub you, you will not even feel it. They are professionals. I was rubbed. I did not, I don't know if I shared, I was rubbed in a daylight, and it was very, very hurtful. You feel like somebody, it almost feels like a rape, somebody just taking something from you, hurting you against your will. It was, in one of my trip, yes, you feel totally violated. And so my mistake was, I had a purse, and I had a jewelry piece that I wanted to fix. And so I put it in my purse, and it was in like little plastic container, but I did not close my purse tight enough. And they have all kinds of like, I don't know, for not forceps, but they have all kind of tools to get into your purse even if you lock your purse. So I just went out in the daylight. It was 2 p.m. and that had happened. It was very upsetting because it was a very, very special item, but I was happy that nobody get hurt, and my documents were not there. Because if my documents were there, it was almost on my last day. It was one day before I left. So that would be devastation. So guys, some of you don't even have a proper you don't have a proper place for your wallet and for your really, really important belongings. So I recommend you literally wearing things that have pocket on the chest, like the inner pocket that you can zip, and you can literally feel it. Like, you can feel your passport, you can feel your documents, you can feel your cards and money. Because Ukrainian men usually have like handbags. They have like square type handbags. But honestly, in Ukraine, I'm not sure I'm recommending you in the big cities the handbags, because a lot of times you will look at something and those get snatched from your hand. I'm not trying to scare you, but if you go to any European city, Rome, Paris, I don't know, London, people come there. They're not from that city. They come there to take advantage of those who are doing better than they are doing. So, once again, it's a lot of information, guys. I will talk about this more in detail next Wednesday. uh there is nothing wrong, Brian, with man bags. It's actually very classy. I love men who have like nice, sort of like a nice organizer. It looks very masculine. It's usually very, it's nicely shaped. It's very masculine. I love that much better than in US. Men have like wearing a nice pants, and then they have bunch of stuff in this pocket, bunch of stuff in this pocket. It's when you're trying to find something, it's falling out of your pockets, and it doesn't look elegant, and it's messing it up your it messes up your appearance. So I don't know the right we have a name for it called barsetka. It's historically men's organizer for the papers, their wallet, their keys. Almost every man has that. I personally love it, because it looks elegant. Sometimes you meet a person in US and they're like asymmetric because they have whole bunch of stuff in the pockets, and it's weird. Or you can have a briefcase. It's no different than a briefcase. It's just a smaller version of a briefcase, or you can have uh, a bigger version of a briefcase. You think that briefcase is like feminine? I don't think so. But it's personal, guys. It's personal. Oh, thank you, guys. Thank you, George Baker. I appreciate it. It was a very, very long day, but it was a wonderful day in the end. Very have a very successful ending. Let's put it like that. Very inspiring. Something very special actually happened today, guys, and that's why I'm here. Even though I'm dead tired, but I wanted to follow up on the safety. I want to know that you guys guarding your drinks and just being alert. So let's see what people are saying here. Yeah, Brian says something very interesting. He says relationship doesn't matter. It is Ukrainian definition of a man that he takes care of a woman. Yes, exactly. You know, whether it's a friend, a cousin, a sister, a mother, if you with a man, you never reach for your wallet. That's just what it is. I don't know if it's good, it's bad. It's just how we grew up, you know? If you don't take care of a woman, you're not a man. You know, I feel like this. For me personally, I live in US, so I understand the mentality. I would rather pay 3 times, but everybody leave me alone. If I went out with the wrong person, I'm out. Like, just tell me where's the exit. I'll pay my tab. I'll pay your tab. Just leave me alone. I don't want to see you. If you're crazy, for example. I'm out. Exit. But in Ukraine, it's a little different. On the other hand, I have to say that each time it hurts. You know, it hurts. It's really funny. No matter how long you live in US, each time when men are not stepping up, not rising to the occasion, and you feel disappointed. And it's not, once again, it's not because you need their money. It's just something um it's just something that you grew up with, something in your bones. Okay, let's see. Guys, so many of you. You should go to bed. What are you doing here? Oh, thank you so much. I'm gonna read some good. How about I read some good comments? Hi, Veronica. You look beautiful tonight. Thank you. Chibadi, hello. Um, Romania, love your conversation. Cliff East. Thank you, Cliff. I'm glad you enjoyed. Your channels are so educational to us guys is going abroad. Thank you. Uh David is saying flowers are cheaper in metro. Yes, flowers are not only cheaper in metro, but they are beautiful. They are beautiful, beautiful, beautiful. You know, for the persons that adore flowers, it's like freaking paradise. And you can choose anything you want, and it's very reasonably priced, so it's not gonna kill you. And sellers will try to please you. Thank you, Brian. I'm just reading, going through comments. Uh, King Nero is saying in parts of Peru you can't go to some villages wearing jewelry or you will get mugged. Yeah, another thing is jewelry. I remember, you know, when I was in school, like in college, I used to wear earrings. You know, I love jewelry, but I stopped wearing so much fine jewelry because I felt like it will come out together with parts of my ears. But it's it's also, guys, you know, when you're somewhere downtown, it's you're more likely to this will more likely to you happen in Chicago or New York or good old Detroit, if you know what I'm saying. Okay, I need some music and a drink. All right, guys, are you all making fun from man's handbag? Well, it's like a mini briefcase. You're just not used to it, and you think it's like feminine, but I love it. I love elegant men. I hate when men have everything in their pockets and they have like men boobs because of the stuff they put in their pockets. I don't know. It's weird. Oh wow, Robert Yeager is saying, hello, Veronica. I always have my phone and money in my boots with my ID. Wow, Robert is taking this to the next level. Wow. Oh my gosh, I never thought of that. Well, you can't put much in my boots because my shoe size is only 5.5 US. So I cannot hide too much in there. But this is brilliant, you know? Just don't take your shoes somewhere. Don't take your shoes off. You know, though, in Ukraine, if you come to someone's house, you need to take your shoes off. By the way, Bellas, hey, good to see you. Bellas is talking about backpack there on front in Asia. You know, guys, those like funny things from these funny things from 90s. I kind of remember those a little bit. I remember, you know, less little fanny packs. So one of the best thing you can have for your documents, your money, your cards when you're traveling around the city, it's a fanny pack that goes across your body, you know, that just goes like across your body, across your chest like this, and it closes on the back, but you have your, you know, your treasures like locked in here on your chest, and you have a little zipper. So I have a picture of one of my subscribers, Mark, if you're watching, Marco. He had a perfect fanny pack that goes across the body. That is a great tip, absolutely great. So, guys, you stop making me laugh, okay? Oh my gosh, Krillin876, thank you so much for another super chat. But he's saying we used to call that bag a fag back in the US. Well, you know, I guess every country has their thing. Once again, as long as you stay safe. But anyways, thank you for the donation. Um, George Baker is saying, my Ukrainian girl give me so much support, Veronica, and you are so on the money on how Ukrainian women treat their men. Yeah, Ukrainian women, when she's with you, she'll kill for you. When she's real, when she's real, you know, world, watch out. Even though you can see the feminine part, you know, the sweet part, the flirtatious part, but when it comes to the badass situation, it's like transformation happens in seconds, and you see a totally different person. You would not expect this tender, you know, beautiful, feminine, I don't know, delicate creation, you know, fighting with her shoe in her hand, um, and her heel, and killing the enemy. So, you know, Ukrainian women, Slavic women in general, are very, very dedicated, and it's true. It's true. Oh my god. Brian, I'm trying to ignore you. You just make me laugh. Somebody saying babushka gene activated. Yes, guys. This is why I always recommend you to get to know the person, to not be in a hurry, because when you made a friend, you're a friend forever. Like when you made a friend, or you know, you fall in love with somebody, you know, Ukrainian women just different. I mean, if my client would call me at 3 a.m. at night and he's in trouble, I don't care what I'm wearing. I would just put whatever, you know, I would be like one of those ratchet women, you know, with like weird pants and whatever clothes I would find, and I would be out of my door saving my client. That's just how it is. We were taught to do these things, you know. Um so find the real one, find the genuine one. Hey James, thanks so much for the support, for your generous super chat. And James is saying, nice reminder before I'm hopping on my flights. Exactly. You're gonna be in good hands because you know, you have Alex to help you, to he gonna take care of you, but it's okay to actually go out by yourself. It's okay to do things yourself. I don't think that Ukraine is anything more different than in any other country. Ukraine is not that different. You just have to be, you just have to, how they say, I was attending like kind of like a class on safety and personal defense, the carrier concealing, carrier, no, it wasn't carrier conceal. Anyways, when you learn how to shoot, so we had an incredible instructor, and that woman mentioned how our instructor was incredible. Yeah, concealed carrier. So she mentioned how they were making this research, and the people who give out the victim mind, who who walk insecure, who doesn't exude confidence, who kind of looking like a target, and my thing is I love wearing bright things like red dresses, blue dresses, and that is okay, but you have to have an attitude and a look and a vibes that you aware, you know where you are, and you walk with confidence, and you give that vibe of strength. It's a big city. Anywhere in the world, you will have somebody looking for you. If you're a woman, you always have you always more targeted. But I grew up there, so when I'm in Ukraine, I'm a different person. I don't behave nothing, not like I do here, because if I do, you don't you have to give out a little bit a different vibe when you on the street with many people. But overall, guys, it's pretty safe. It's all of my subscribers, all my VIP club, for 2 years we went to Ukraine, and it was pretty safe. Nobody of them was scared or anything like this. Overall, it's very peaceful and safe, especially places we went in Kiev. So I'm not doing this to scare you, but I feel that if I don't tell you these things, it would be unfair. I want you to all have a good time. Once again, to all of you who would like to have some more insight and tips, so you have particular questions, you have a week to reach out, and I will record, probably gonna be 3 videos and like one call or one long video, just with all those tips together. How to save money, where to buy this, where to go, stuff like that. Oh, my arms. I need an arms backpack. Oh wow, that is very cool. Glenn is saying, one of my members, forever, Glenn, good to see you, is saying, I have a security money belt that is worn around the waist under the clothing, but I have never felt the need to wear it, so I don't know how comfortable it is. Well, that sounds like a perfect belt for Ukraine, Glenn. Hey, you just have I'm having a business idea right here. We all need Glenn's security belt. Brian is saying Ukraine has less crime than US. Yes. I mean, it's a generalization, but it's true. But there are many poor people, so if you leave something laying around, it's gonna be gone. Yes, that is true. If you leave something laying around, like in US, like I can go right now outside in my small town and put my wallet. In about 15 minutes, I'll get a phone call that I left my wallet. It is so weird for me, like it's actually happened. I would leave something valuable and people would call me and say, hey, you forgot this. In Ukraine, it's not gonna happen. Just so you know. You have to watch out. Okay, let's see. Yeah. Belas is saying guns are illegal in Ukraine, but everyone has one. Well, Belas, guns in US and Ukraine is a different story. Not everyone has one, but listen, our people, if you give them guns, they'll shoot the hell out of each other. I'm just telling you, it's a different story. Our people are different. It's not a good idea. You know, the way we just having a regular conversation, it can go from 0 to 100. So if there are guns and drinks involved, I can already tell you how that's gonna end. um Brian is saying, what are you saying, Veronica, is not about Ukraine is very safe. You just telling common sense about being a tourist anywhere. There are always predators, yeah. Well, I can't say it, but it's very true. James is saying, my trick is to tell a stranger no English, only Chinese. No English. Me not speak English, only Chinese. Something like that. Me not speak English. Me не понимать. By the way, another great tip for those who made it this far in the video. Thank you guys. Another great tip is to learn some common phrases in Ukraine. Не понимаю, не хочу, извините, не надо. All of these things, you can spend a month in US and, learn some of the commonly used phrases, and people will leave you alone. When we traveled in Ukraine back in time, I don't know, 19 years ago, I also told to my friends, foreigners, if somebody approaching to you and they're not looking good, you have to give them the tough look. You have to basically give them the death stare. Like, and they will not go to you. I remember my husband was staying with me at a different part of Kiev, because actually, yes, it was he wanted to stay in the center, but as a good Ukrainian woman, I thought it would be we can get more of our money if we stay a little bit further from center. So I was trying to save some money. Note, but it was not as good as people there. So when he would go shopping, I told him to, if somebody is approaching you and they're a little drunk or they're trying to talk to you, give them the death stare. Like you mad and serious. You serious and you mad at the same time. Like, they will not approach you. Because you show I'm aware, leave me alone, or your ass gonna be kicked. So that's basically the death stare. The death stare. So yeah, that's a death stare I give to my child as well, John. So we all had practiced that at some point, right? But seriously, you look serious, you look you look focused. Okay, this video goes this video gonna go, guys. So on my other website, on Patreon, there's gonna be some public posts, so it's not everything is locked. So videos like this might go there. Oh my god. But seriously, in Ukraine, you don't smile to strangers unless you live in a small village. Unless you literally like in the village, you do not talk to. You do not smile like hi. I remember some foreigners. They I used to work in the agency, and the foreigners, the foreigners would smile. Like they would smile to people, and they would say like hello, привет. First of all, it's extremely informal. You don't say привет to unknown people. You say здравствуйте или добрый день. You don't say привет. So anyway, so I told them to stop doing it because they look like they're out of their mind, like they're going senile. So anyway, yes, if you smile, they think you're crazy. Exactly, Patrick. Oh my god. Okay, guys, I'm gonna cry right now because I feel bad about this. Albert is saying it is usually in tourist areas where professional scammers and thieves exist. Yes, Albert has been to Ukraine too. You've spent some time in Ukraine, and you never had anything happen to you as well, correct? So my last tip for today, guys, and we're all gonna go and rest because I'm super tired too. So one of the things also, if you decide to take subway or any kind of transportations, what happened at there are certain times when they are becoming people like super tight, and it's not very pleasant if you like your space. It's not very pleasant. I hate when people come close to me. I mean, especially some. So and they try to you don't understand where your body ends, where their body begins. It's very very unpleasant and gross. But so and they would actually reach out to your pocket, they can reach out to your purse. Well, you don't have purse, but they would reach out somewhere, and they have special things, they have special tools to actually reach out to your pockets, a purse, or whatever gadget you have. So you have to be very aware when somebody's like holding you tight. If you come in the peak hour, we call it time peak or rush hour in subway, not a good idea. So early morning or work time when everybody goes back from work to home, subway no, metro нет. Say no to metro. Yes, they also, my mother has this little briefcase, and they had a little knife, and they cut the back of a briefcase. And but once again, it's only when it's super crowded. I recommend using Uber. Why? Use some kind of Uber or Uklon, because if you forgot something in a taxi, those drivers, they care about their reputation. You have their car, their name, their license plate. Those people who are driving Uber, they want to drive more. They like to work in with foreigners. So if you forgot your jacket or your glasses or something, you can actually get those things back. Yes. James is asking, can we use Uber US account in Ukraine? Yes, you can. Yes, you can. And you don't even need to have cash. I used to have cash in Ukraine. I had the local cell phone there, but now I have the PayPal connected, like my bank, whatever, connected to my Uber. So I love it because you don't even have to take out cash. If you want to tip somebody, guys, Uber in Ukraine is like a joke. It's just, $3, $4, $5. Long trip is like $10. Not like 30 or 40 or 50 in US. So if you want to tip an Uber driver, even if you pay a card, by all means, if you had a great ride, it would mean a lot to them. Even if you give just a couple bucks or whatever, you can, but you're not obligated. You can also tip them through your card. You know, when you have your Ubers, they ask you, do you want a tip? So definitely recommend Uber, Uklon. Uh, yes, you might have a little bit of an issue with the language, but I think some of the streets on the phone might show up with English letters. I don't remember now. um David is saying, I had an Uber driver at Borispol try to talk me into using him instead of the driver I had been waiting for. He told me, oh, he drink vodka and sleeping in the parking lot. By the way, I do not recommend, driving in Ukraine because it's very hard and it doesn't worth it. It's very hectic. And also, if you drive in Ukraine, you cannot have any alcohol. So if in US you can have a glass of wine or glass of beer like every hour you can have a drink. In US, in Ukraine, no alcohol whatsoever. If you're gonna be driving, you are not allowed to even drink before night before you drive. So Uber, walking, subway, just be alert, you're gonna be fine. Yeah, so okay, the drivers the drivers in Borispol in the airport are very aggressive. They bugging even myself, even they know I speak the language, they still bugging me. Everybody. So you just make an angry face and say no, thank you. Нет, спасибо. Like if you have somebody who is meeting you already, these drivers they're gonna be attacking you, offering you better deal, whatever. You just give them the death stare and say, нет, нет, все, like done. Нет, спасибо. That's all you do. You just tell them, you know. Yes, they can be very mean. David saying that one of them grabbed his arm. One of them uh was really rude to me one time too, trying to insult me and hurt me, but I knew that it's a manipulation. So all right, guys, our nighttime session. Oh my god, good god, guys, from Michigan with love. Have a wonderful night of sleep. I will see you soon. You will see more announcements and more videos coming shortly. Thank you so much for joining. Thank you for supporting. And I appreciate it. I wish you all safe travels to Ukraine. And if you need my help, you know